Okay, so let's dive deeper into the Juicy Lifestyle System. But before we do, are you all still with me? Yes? All still with me? Yes? Yeah. Yes? Good. Right. The Juicy Lifestyle System. So I always start with mindset. Why? Because I believe that you cannot get into the right frame of body until you first get into the right frame of mind. And you might want to write this one down. 80% of success of anything in life is your psychology. It's not the mechanics. 20% is the how-to. People often say, oh, how do I do this juicing? How do I, different recipes, things like that. And I always say, start with your psychology first. Because otherwise you'll be one of them people who start something but don't finish. You'll try it, but then you won't get the result. You'll say it doesn't work. So that's why we start with the Juicy Lifestyle Formula. So we've got 5 Fs. You might want to write down 5 Fs alongside down your page. And the first one we're going to talk about is foundation. Now, what do I mean by foundation? Well, think about it like this. Foundation is the underlying goals, principles, psychology, philosophy that guides your life. Now, why is this so important? Well, think about it like this. What's the first thing they do when they build a building? They don't lay the bricks. They don't mix the cement. The very first thing they do is lay the foundations. Because if you don't have a solid foundation in anything in life, then you're going to fall victim to things like criticism, hard times. Why can the tallest buildings in the world withstand some of the extreme weather conditions? It's because they have strong foundations. Now, the question becomes, how do we develop our foundation in life? Well, I've developed 3 simple Ps. They're philosophy, purpose, and personal responsibility. And we're going to first start with philosophy. Now, what do I mean by philosophy? Well, philosophy are the guiding principles that control your life. Now, why is that important? Well, think about it like this. Never give up. I always do my best. These are generic philosophies that people live their lives by. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Your health is your wealth. And think about it like this. Some people are over here and they say, my body is my temple. Other people are down this end. You only live once. Live every day as if it was your last. And then there's some of people in the middle, sort of everything in moderation. So what we need to do is decide our own philosophy. We don't want to be down here necessarily where our body is our temple. Why? Because you don't want to be that parent, for instance, or that person who goes to a party and says, a little kid comes up to you, for instance, they've made a cake, and they say to you, have some of my cake. And you're like, no, sorry, my body is my temple, I do not eat cake. But equally, you don't want to be this person who says, you only live once, so I'll have that extra bit of cake, I'll have the whole cake. I'll have that drink every week, I'll go out every night, every weekend. So we want to develop our own philosophy. Someone I've worked with who needed a new philosophy, his name was Bob. He runs a successful fruit and veg delivery company, but he was in a really dark place after lockdown, and he wanted to turn his business around, but turn his life around. So what did I do to Bob? Well, I gave him some new distinctions. I said, we're going to teach you about juicing, but we're going to teach you how to turn your mind around, give you some new distinctions. And now he understands that if you don't have your health, then what do you have? If you don't have the right psychology, then what do you have? Yes, we want to learn how to make money. Yes, we want to learn how to have the right relationship, and that's all improved for him. But the first thing he needed to do was a shift in psychology. Now, you might want to write these down because these are 2 key distinctions that I've learnt. And they might sound very simple. They might sound very obvious. They might sound trite. But I've found that the absolute truth when it comes to your personal philosophy. So 2 things. The first thing you want to do is read, observe, listen to role models, go to talks. Because the reason I'm standing here right now talking to you, I was inspired, but I had a philosophy, which was 90% of success is turning up. I also believe public speaking used to be a real feat for me, really hard, didn't want to do it. But then I adopted a philosophy from no other than Tony Robbins, who said, if you can't, then you must. What does that really mean? It means if you find yourself saying, I can't do that, that means you don't want to do that. It's scary. It's outside my comfort zone. What that really means is you must do it. If you find yourself saying, I can't, I must. That's why I'm standing here right now. It's a change in philosophy. So philosophy, as you see, guides our life. Two ways. You either want to create a new philosophy if you don't have one, or you want to refine your current philosophy. Two ways you do that. Like I said, you read books, you go to seminars like this. I can guarantee you now you're sitting here right now because of your philosophy. Yes or no? Do you agree? Yes. Come on, guys, yes or no?
Yes.
So the second way, and that's why I've got a little prop here, this is a little distinction for you. You want to have it in a journal. You want to have your philosophies, your ideas, your thoughts, but not in just a cheap journal, not in a piece of paper, not on a piece of tissue that you just found, in a hardbound journal. Why? Because then you can use these over the years and you can see how far you've come. I can look back a year or two ago and say to myself, you know what? I was on the path and now I'm refining it. I come to seminars like this and I learn more. And I discover who I really want to be, what I really want to do when it comes to my health, but my life in general. So, good tip for you, make sure you get a hardbound journal. Another person who's implemented this, his name's Les, he used to be my old science teacher. But could we agree that sometimes you can know things in life, i.e. you know how to teach science, but you don't necessarily apply the principles, yes or no? Yeah. So if that's true, then that's where I came in when I taught him about how to make a batch of juices and blends. So you spend an hour or two on a Sunday, and you don't have to worry about the cleaning up every day. You just make a batch in one go, all your 7 juices for the week or blends, and they're there. Les struggled with his weight. He was going into retirement, and he was coming out of teaching. He struggled with breakfast, the most important meal of the day, yet he struggled with it. He would often skip it. I'm sure many people in here often struggle with breakfast. People do. So did I. And that's been the key thing for me. I've shown him how to do that. And now he's closer with his family. He's enjoying his retirement just from a few simple changes. Clearly, he's now into juicing. He does that every day. He makes his own recipes. But it came from understanding philosophy. So I'll leave you with this because we're going to move on to purpose. We're going to move on to personal responsibility, to understanding this foundation, the very first principle, the most important thing when it comes to your health. But I'll leave you with this. The greatest determining factor when it comes to success in your life comes down to your personal philosophy. Now let's move on to purpose.
Good job. So in third place, we have Luke Morton. There'll be a competition between him and his dad. Right, you want to go in the middle?
Photo.
Yeah, have a little photo. There's your award. Congratulations. Perfect. Good job. Well done. Second